We're talking about mastering time management strategies for becoming a highly effective person. So I just want to say a disclaimer here that some of the things I'm going to say, it may not be the perfect fit or the perfect season for you. Everyone has their own season, life changes, right? And many of you have been taught and trained to live a balanced life, and that's correct, right? However, I'm a witness that there are seasons where you can be very balanced, and then there are seasons where you need to ramp up in a certain area. For instance, if there's something that becomes undone in your life, maybe your health goes down the drain. So you have to be have a super emphasis on your health and getting that back together. And on the outside, people might think, oh, you're being obsessive over your health, and that looks unbalanced, but actually you're trying to restore balance, right? So, it's the same thing in your finances, in your career. Maybe you're in your career or in schooling behind. So you have to rev that up in your life. And on the outside, it looks unbalanced, but you're actually restoring balance. So today I'm going to be talking about how to become highly effective. And there is a way, I'm going to show you a way that you can have the mental and emotional stability you need to feel centered, but still be very, very focused, right? A lot of people think that you can't do both. You can, but it is an art. So we're going to talk about that art. All right, let's go. Let's go to the next one. So I told everyone to prepare one of their favorite time management tips. So I will start, I'm just going to go in order to what I see. I'm going to start with Amy. Let us know, come off of mute and let us know what your time management tip is.
Probably the best tip that I've heard, and the one that I still use, is a mentor I had my freshman year of college. And it was basically just that your time management, no matter how much you really try to, optimize it and everything, it's not going to be perfect. So the better that you can live in the constant state of disequilibrium, you'll actually kind of get to a place where everything evens out and you'll overall be pretty on top of things.
Absolutely. Someone taught me years ago, control the controllables. Control the controllables. That's one of the first unofficial tips I'm going to give you right now. Meaning, you can't control everything in your life, but there are things that you can control. And for those things that you can control those things so that when there are little things that come up that you are not in control of, it won't dismantle everything and disrupt your entire life, right? Okay, so let's go to Beatrice. Beatrice, what's your time management tip?
Hello, everyone. So I used to write a daily to-do list in my copybook, and whenever I finish that task, for example, I just cut a line on that so I know it's done. And mostly this is it.
All right, that's a good one, a daily to-do list. All right, Flurry, how about you?
I'm kind of similar to Beatrice. I have a planner with me every day, so I will write down everything I need to do the day before. So the next day I will do just one by one. Yeah.
Absolutely. I lived by that for a long time. Next is Corbin.
Hello, can y'all hear me well?
Yes.
Perfect. One of my tips for time management is controlling the negative influences, things that, such as like television being on in the same room. I have ADHD, so it's especially important for me to make sure that I don't have distractions. So controlling those negative influences to your time management will allow you to naturally be more productive and effective.
Mm-hmm. I'm so glad that you said that. I'm so glad that in you guys' lifetime, we've normalized ADHD, right? It's so normalized and okay to say that. Even 10 years ago, you couldn't say that. So I'm so glad. Let's see, Kyler.
There we go. Mine was already said, but it was the writing everything down is a good one.
Yeah.
I was talking to Kenyon in one of our meetings, and he was showing me and Alexa, like, he had journals of time planners, and he was showing us them. It's just keep everything written down and set like alarms on your phone and put it on your calendar. Just, digitize it so you're seeing what you need to be doing constantly.
Yes. For some people, like myself, writing things down is how it gets cemented in the mind. I know that seems old school to a lot of people. And of course, you need digital reminders. But for instance, like for me, I have to write it or it doesn't exist. Like that's the only way it stays in front of me. So that's good. All right, Matt, how about you?
I think for me, being routine oriented is really important. Just kind of doing the same things at the same times as much as I can control it. And also just the night before, visualizing what my day is going to look like the next day, so I can kind of mentally plan out my time schedule for the next day.
Yes, routine oriented. Exactly. We're going to go over that. Perfect. Layla.
Yes, so what I do is I make a mental list of all the things that are taking up time in my life. And I decide what things like I would be willing to sacrifice and what things I wouldn't be willing to sacrifice. So like social gatherings, working out, school work, and the things that I am willing to sacrifice, I kind of cut down on, and the things that I'm not willing to sacrifice, I prioritize those.
Absolutely. It's all about where you're willing to spend your time. And again, it's about seasons. So there's some seasons require more focus in certain areas. All right, Mohammed, and then Stephen.
Yeah, can you guys hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so for me, the really biggest thing has been, I think, a little compile of what a few of you guys have said, but it was, you can't control time, you can only control activities, which comes
Yeah.
back to the controllable. I think Corbin was also talking a little bit about focus as well. So as long as you have that mindset of, I can't really control time, we all have the same 24 hours. So how much activity can I do as fast as I can in that time of period that I have? And I really love breaking up my hours in like 15-minute windows or 30-minute windows. And then I'll just focus on doing that one thing in that one window as fast as I can and move to the next one. So it's controlling the activities and doing one thing at the time. That's what I usually do. That's the tip for me.
Yes. Millionaires and billionaires have the same 24 hours we all do. So they're not necessarily financial experts. They are time masters, time management masters. They know how to effectively use that time. And then finally, Stephen.
Hi. A lot of some of the best things were already said. So I'll leave you with some wisdom that I was shared by someone who's really smart. They mentioned that if at first you don't succeed, try again. And I definitely find that in my life, yes, sometimes I will always add more to the project, try to go for an infinite amount of detail, but sometimes that will make the scope of the project an infinite amount of time to complete. So sometimes ease up on that and you might be able to accomplish more.
That is so true. Authors have that problem really big. I've known authors that will take 10 years to write one book because they're perfectionists. You have to, if you're an author, you have to become okay with 70% of satisfaction, because the book will never be exactly what you want it to be. But as long as you can walk away feeling 70% satisfied, then that's a success. And you can feel peace about putting that book out. But that's another story. All right, let's go to next. All right, I have an example to show you guys. So a lot of people say they don't have time for different things, right? So I'm going to show you a model that I learned 11 years ago that I took, and I was able to transform my entire life based on this concept. And this is what I still live by today. But it's a visual aid, so I need you guys to pay attention. So you see this glass? It is like a vase. Can you see it? Now it's invisible. Ooh, magic. Look at that. All right, you see this, right? Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some things and fill this up, right? Now, all these things that I'm going to use to fill this up represent different things that take up time in our day. So let's just imagine that this is 24 hours a day, right? Okay, so what are some things that have to go in your day? Come off of mute and just shout it out.
Eating.
Eating. All right, so eating. I'm gonna put a rock down here. That's eating.
Workout.
What's that?
Workout.
Workout. Workout. Okay, I'm gonna put another in here. Workout. Give me another.
Sleep.
Sleep. We spend 8 hours of our day sleeping. So that's a big chunk of our time gone. All right. Okay, so look at how much time we have. Right? This is, so let's think. Eating, working out, sleeping. What are some other things that we must do in our day?
Basic hygiene.
Basic hygiene, yeah. All right, let me see if I can fit that in there. There's one big one you guys are missing.
Gotta go to work.
Gotta go to work. Gotta go to work. Gosh, you gotta go to work. Okay, so there's work. All right, so it's pretty full, right? So let's think about this. This is a typical person. They eat, sleep, they go to work, they go to the gym. Now, this type of person may say, I don't have time to do anything else. And they would be right. Are they right? Are they right?
Yes.
No.
Who said no?
Corbin.
Corbin, you're right. That is not correct. They do have some time for other things. Let's think of some other things that are also important, but are not the most important things. But let's think of some other aspects of life. Like, for instance, I'll put one in for hanging out with friends. Okay.
Meditation.
Meditate
Okay. Like 5 minutes a day. So squeeze it in whenever I can.
Yeah, I put a little rock in for that one. Someone else.
Maybe personal relation, like love life.
Love life. Gonna put one in there. Come on, give me some more.
Reading.
Reading. Yeah, for like studying and things like that. Okay, so now we're getting pretty full at the top. Now, this person has working out, eating, sleeping, meditating, reading, personal relationships. So this person will really say, I don't have time for anything else. Is that true? Amy said no. What are some things that this person might be missing in life that hasn't been inserted in their life?
Community
Hobbies.
involvement.
Hobbies. Someone said hobbies. What else?
Community involvement.
Community involvement.
Did we say family yet?
Family.
Chores.
Chores, like cleaning up your own house. Okay, so now it's full to the top. Now, this person has a lot of things on their plate. This person doesn't have room for anything else, do they?
There's a few nooks and crannies.
You see nooks and crannies. I also see nooks and crannies. You know what? There's a lot of other things this person could be doing. Networking,
Reading a
building
book.
their business, marketing their business. What are some other things? Personal development, spiritual development,
Self-care.
self-care,
Volunteering.
volunteering. So look, now all of a sudden this person had found lots of things to do when they thought they didn't have time, but now they're out of time. Is that right? They're out of time, right? They filled up that whole 24 hours. But think about all the other time wasting things that happen in our life that hold us up.
That's a good point.
Now, as you can see, there's more time. So I use that example to say, there's many people who say they don't have time for certain things. And the issue is that they're not seeing the time because they are not looking at where they're idle, where they're spending too much time on entertainment. They're spending too much time talking to that friend who talks a lot. You know, those relatives who stress you out a lot. So today I want to show you how to make your day like this glass and how to find ways to get things done that you want to get done. All right, so let's get into the lesson. All right, so this is what my calendars used to look like, guys. So I don't know if you saw that post I made in the group. Model, ambassador, producer, actress, mom, personal trainer. I used to run a donut shop. I used to market for other people. I used to train people. I was bodybuilding. I was doing all of those things. I was working for companies all over the DFW, all over the place. And this is how I kept up with it. Long before there was an Erica, this is how I was managing everything. And so I used to use different colors to signify different companies, different things I had to do. I used to use highlighters, but this is what my days would look like every day. And the truth is, this is actually not showing everything. This was actually just my master calendar. So for instance, I had 3 calendars. One, a small one that I carried with me to write down any new appointments that happened while I was on the go. I had a desk calendar that I would look at that would show the overview of my month and week. And then I had the master calendar, which is this one that would show what I had to do on a daily basis. But I also had notes. So when you turn the page on this calendar, it would have notes so I could go into detail. So this is how busy I was. This is when I was living that lifestyle that I just described, finding a way to do whatever I needed to do in every nook and cranny. So this is what we're going to talk about. All right, let's go. All right, so here are the main points we're going to talk about with time management. Things you need to learn to avoid, learn to limit, learn to juggle, and learn to manage. Let's start with learn to avoid. So interruptions, right? Interruptions. So making sure that you are avoiding things like people bursting into the door, phone alerts, any other types of sounds that distract you. The second thing to avoid is decision fatigue. So I live in routines. I eat the same things, wear the same clothes, go to the same places almost every day, so that I can rule out having to be overwhelmed with decisions to make about what I'm going to wear, what I'm going to eat. I have it pretty much planned out. Okay. Especially when I was bodybuilding, basically you eat the same food every day. Time and energy stealing people is another thing to avoid. I had to limit my interactions with people that I love, but because they took a lot of my time because they had time. So if they had time to talk, they automatically assumed I had an hour just for them to vent about something. And I had to limit that. Did that make me seem like a jerk? Maybe, but it taught everybody in my environment to respect my time. And that is something people will respect you for that. So don't feel like, oh, I can't tell my cousin I can't take her 5th call this week, because she's just calling to talk about the same thing, the same guy, the same issue. You're going to have to ignore the call and just text her. Yeah, you can do it nicely. You can do it nicely. So another tag that I put in there underneath learn to avoid is never trust your memory. That calendar is proof of the fact that I don't trust my memory for anything. I have to write it down. I have to have multiple reminders. So if you trust your memory, you're going to forget like 70% of what you're supposed to. And that is going to make you a bad manager of time. All right, the next thing is learn to limit obligations to other people and activities. Stop promising that you're going to be at certain places. When people say, oh, will you come to this? Don't promise them that you're going to come, right? Limit your obligations. I remember one time years ago, I used to go to every event someone asked me to. I never said no. And my mentor pulled me aside and he said, I don't care if you have the time to do this. If you just want to sit on your couch with your husband and watch a TV show, that's what you're going to do. You're not going to run all over town. Because the crazy thing about it is that these same people that will call me all over town to support them would not do the same for me. So limit your obligations. There's going to be graduations you can't go to, birthday parties you can't go to. You have to learn to say no. Limit entertainment and pleasant activities. I'm not saying X amount, I'm talking about limit them. There is only a certain amount of time I allow myself to watch TV, allow myself to just do something mindless. And I'm going to talk about brain breaks also. I do give myself brain breaks, but there's a limit to each one. I don't let myself just sit on a couch and be a couch potato, right? That's a bad management of time. The third thing to limit is long conversations, okay? Unless it's like a crisis or a moment that somebody really, really needs you. And you have to learn the difference. If it's your cousin who always wants to call about that same relationship problem, that is not an urgent need. However, if it's your aunt who's in bad health and you don't know when's the next time is going to be the last time you talk to her, that's an okay time to have a long conversation. Your long-term relationship, that's an okay time to have a long conversation, but you just have to avoid certain people, and you know who those people are. Start saying no is the tagline with that. Start saying no. Learn to manage your hobbies. You can have your hobbies. Up there in the left corner, you see me learning jujitsu. I did jujitsu and taekwondo and stunt training for acting at the same time. But there was a limit on each one and how many times I would go. So you can have your hobbies, but just make sure that your hobbies don't have you, and you're not one of those people that's like obsessed with your one hobby. Unless that's going to be your career, then you need to chill. If you have to have a lot of other things you need to be effective in. Learn to manage your learning and thinking process. So you saw how on the calendar I had different color pens to write with and different color highlighters. Erica sends you guys graphics. You notice that? She does that because of me. It's the only way that I can process certain information is by having different colors and different bullet points and fonts. And she does that so that I can process it. Learn how your brain learns. Corbin mentioned ADHD. People have functional autism, they have different learning processes, and as soon as you learn your brain, like map your whole life and everything around that, and your whole life would be so much easier. But learn to also manage your life around your staples. So for instance, the big rocks that I was talking about in the beginning, for me, that would be like my standing meetings, like Mission Monday, Regini, 1 Million Cups, ToroNet. These are my big rocks. Like I know when those times are. And so when I'm making my calendar, that's going on my calendar first. And now I'm going to build everything around that. Every meeting has to be around that. So that's how I manage my life. That's how I manage my workout schedule and everything. So the tagline with that is train everyone around you to respect your focus. So the level that I'm on with time management is not just because I'm excellent at time management, it's because everybody in my life is accustomed to the way my routines. So basically if I'm in my mode, that's what it's called in my house. If I'm in my mode, right? If they see me looking at the computer, they know not to say anything to me. If they walk into the room, they see that I'm on a computer, they close the door. So you have to make sure that the people around you start to respect your focus and they understand your mission and things like that. And they will. Like if you just say, you just got to keep reminding them, I'm just super focused, I'm trying to finish school, I'm trying to do this, and then after a while, they'll start to back off. So let's go to the next, which will be learn to juggle. Not the next slide, I'm sorry. Learn to juggle, delegate. I delegate a lot in my house. There's a million things that I want to do. I'm a mom, so I see clutter everywhere. I delegate all of that. So learn where you can delegate if you can. Multitask. Now, Erica's against multitasking. And I'm going to talk about Erica's advice too. She's against multitasking because she likes to just do something, get it all the way done before she does something else. I don't even know how Erica does it, okay? But for me, multitasking is good in this instance only. If I'm at the gym and I can take a call and it's just a phone call, yeah, I will take that call while I'm on the treadmill. If I'm standing in a line somewhere and I have a Canva deck that needs to be built, I'm going to work on the Canva while I'm standing in a line. So that's what I'm talking about. There's no place that I'm just sitting doing nothing unless I'm in the shower. Okay. Otherwise, I'm doing more than one thing. Okay. Then juggle with notes, taking notes constantly, taking notes. Again, it goes back to not trusting your memory. So be mindful of that. So here's another tagline: brain breaks are your best friend. So in order for me to be mentally stable and not be barking at everyone, I have to have a brain break. That's normal, right? Even in school now, they're starting to insert brain breaks in school. So for instance, my brain break is when anytime I'm eating is a brain break, right? Or if I know that I'm about to do something that takes a lot of mental focus, I will work myself up to it. So if you're a guy, most guys know this feeling when they're in the gym and they're about to lift something really heavy, they put on their headsets and they're just walking around like this. They're like trying to work themselves up, right? You see guys in the gym doing that, right? Because whenever you see a guy doing that, you know he's about to lift really heavy. He's trying to build up his mindset for it. In the same way, whenever I'm about to do something that takes a lot of mental focus for me, I will do something completely mindless before that, so I'm not wasting any energy. So what that would look like is cleaning up something. I literally have things, have you ever noticed that certain CEOs have toys in their office and things like that? If you go to Google and certain like tech spaces, they have like puzzles. That's what that's there for, is there so that you can take a brain break, like do something completely mindless, and then go into that focus, because you know you're going to be glued to your desk for like the next 2-3 hours. So that is what that is about. And I just put some pictures here to show just some of the things that I was doing, like when I was in a height of all my insanity. Okay, go to the next. All right, so here's a typical day for me. I just wanted to give that just in case anybody was wondering. So that's a picture of me working while on vacation, right? I'm always working, doesn't matter where I am. Okay, I know that sounds bad, but it's just, I have a lot to do and I have to make sure that I'm doing it. So number one, I start off morning is praying and affirmations, coffee, and my breakfast. I have the same thing, so no decision fatigue. Sometimes I have someone make my breakfast for me. Delegate, right? So I did in the morning, I just start delegating all the things that need to be done. I walk from my room to my kitchen. If I see something messed up, if I see the animals, like I start delegating. Noon, I'm working. I have my lunch break, which is my brain break. So I'll turn on a cartoon or something like completely mindless while I'm eating for about like 10 minutes. Then I start checking on the family. Like, has this been done? What are you guys doing? Is everything okay? Blah, blah, blah. Okay, now I'm going back into my room to work until it's time to go to the gym, then dinner, then having a brain break and family time at dinner time. So at night, I'm working while I'm watching TV. This is me having a routine, trying to tone my brain down. Then I give my final delegations, like turn off the lights, feed the animals, let the animals out, do this and that. And then I check on the house one more time. I see if everything was done, if there's anything left undone. Then in the middle of the night, you might say to yourself, oh, she's still going at the middle of the night. Yes, I am. In the middle of the night, I have my notebook and my pens on the side of my bed, because I will wake up at 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, remembering something that I forgot, or just anything, an idea. I write it down. If I remember an urgent message, I send it right there. That's another thing that I'm really big on. I don't procrastinate on anything. If I remember to do something, I try to do it right in that moment, just so that I don't have to think about it later. I don't like having things in the back of my mind weighing on me. And then the last one I can't see because, hold on, I can't move the thing. What's the last note?
It says to keep insomnia at bay.
Keep insomnia at bay. So even that is about time management. I play rain sounds and I take melatonin when I have to, just to make sure that I stay asleep, because I know I have to get good rest before, the next day. So managing your sleep time is also part of time management. Okay, next. Okay, so these are the aspects of life that we all juggle, no matter who we are. Physical health, mental health, career, spiritual life, your relationships, and your learning and personal development, right? So all of us are juggling these things. Like I said, you can seek to be balanced, but then something goes down the drain, like a relationship falls off, or schoolwork falls off, or your career falls off, something falls off. And we cannot be 100% all of the time. We will always fall off. The question is, how quickly can you get back on? As soon as you realize that you've fallen off, how quickly will you get back on? That is the main issue. Some people procrastinate to get back on where they need to be. So we have to minimize that. So for instance, for my physical health, I go to the gym 5 days a week, stay under 1,600 calories, under 35% carbs. Mental health, I do breathing and brain breaks every day. Career, I make connections, I'm staying consistent, sorry for the typos, with my work. Spiritual, prayer routinely, throughout the day, and Bible study. Relationships, date night each Saturday, family day each Sunday, several mentoring and family talks throughout the week, wellness checks on my friends. I don't have time to chat on the phone all the time with my friends, but I check in with them. every week, right? And then finally, for my learning and personal growth, I use Clubhouse, forgot the E, Clubhouse and audiobooks daily and reading, okay? So what I have to say on this is whatever your aspects, think about the aspects of life you're dealing with, all of these areas, and make sure that you're doing something in every area. So you shouldn't be doing all of these things except for something for your mental health. You shouldn't be doing all of these things and then leaving your physical health out, because that is going to be the thing that you're going to have to focus on later. Do you get what I mean? Like if you let your physical health go, you won't be able to do that much longer. You're going to have to now make your life about your physical health. It happened to me. So I had got diabetes in my 20s. When I was your age, I had diabetes. Okay, I tried to avoid it. I got it. And then I had to dedicate my life to becoming healthy. And then that's how I got into bodybuilding. So literally, if I don't go to the gym 5 days a week, I'm going to have problems. And so that is what, because I didn't have my life balance. I was focusing all in one area and then in some other areas. And I just was like with physical health. So this is why it's so important to do that juggle. Okay, next.
I'm just curious, what kind of mentorings do you do with your family?
So all throughout the week, I mentor my children. I do also have pep talks with a lot of my other family members as well that live in my house and that come by. But throughout the day, we have leadership and life mentoring, spiritual mentoring. Like it's just constant. It's never ending. I call them into, right now, my kids are sitting here. They're listening to this training. I also pay them to learn things, right? So that's how seriously we take it in this house. It's very, very serious. I'm a homeschooler, by the way. I've been homeschooling the kids for 12 years. So it's very, very important. So here are some tips from Erica. Erica is a master of organization. I'm telling you, you can learn a lot of things from her. And I wanted to include some of her tips. Some of her tips are: number one, organize and plan before each week, list according to priority. The second thing is she used PC sticky notes for those things that are high priority. And she also used Microsoft to-do lists. She focuses in on one thing at a time. She doesn't multitask. Again, I don't know how she does that, but she does. She turns off her phone, right, anytime she's working, and she uses visuals and graphics. So those are some tips from Erica, and I just wanted to include her because, you know, when she came in, like she upgraded she gave me a digital transformation. I was doing everything with paper, and she helped me to digitize all of this reminder stuff. Okay, next. All right, so here are some things you need to remember. Make sure your goals are specific. That's what time management too. That's about good time management. If you're not specific, you're gonna waste a lot of time. Let's put it that way. The second thing is purposeful activities. Make sure that you're doing things that are purposeful and not just running to every little thing your friends and family have going on. And definitely be there in other ways. For instance, we have Saturday is date night for me and my husband. Sunday is family night. If someone wants to come and like ask us to do something on Saturday, okay, that's fine. It's not going to be a habit. The habit is I have to make time for my family, period. So you just have to make sure that if you're going out, like, is it about business? Is it about school? Is it about work? Is it about, you have a small window, guys. You don't have as much time as you think you do. You don't have your whole life to achieve your dreams. You have until your health starts to fail. Okay? That's how long you have. Whether that's in your 40s, your 50s, that's it. So you have like between, okay, you graduate school, then you start working. Between that time, And the time your health starts to fail, that's when you're going to be your most effective. So you don't have time to waste, okay? Limit your fun. I'm not saying don't have it, I'm saying limit it. So just look at, pay attention to, like, are you on social media too much? Are you watching too much TV? Are you hanging out too much? You're going out too much? What are you doing? That is kind of like taking up your time. And my biggest thing is live in a flexible routine. I have routines around my whole life, but it's flexible so that if anything comes out of nowhere, okay, it's fine. I'll adjust. I'll just roll with the punches. But I have a routine, and that's how you limit wasting time. Make your life predictable, right? That is, highly effective people are very predictable. So find some way to keep some predictability in your life so that you can be sane. And then finally, whenever you can do two things at once, do it. Only if it's not that big of a deal. I'm not saying write an exam while you're in the emergency room. I'm just saying, like, if you could take a call, if you can you could take some notes, you can listen to an audiobook while you're out doing something like riding in a car, that type of stuff, that makes you more effective, right? Whenever I was transitioning from doing all those jobs to running my own business, the whole goal was to go from working a 9 to 5 to be here where I don't have to go to work, okay? It took me 2 years to do that, of extreme focus, of saying no to everybody, to limiting my fun. But and doing all these tasks, but doing all of that to eventually transition out, right? And the way that I did that was I would learn something that would get me into the next space, into the next space, into the next space. So while I was at one job, I had the audio book for the certification I was getting to get me into the next job. Then I transitioned into that. And while I was doing that, I was doing other things, right? So keep learning, keep learning. Okay, so like for right now I have on my gym pants and my tennis shoes, because as soon as we're done, I'm gonna run to the gym. And then when I'm at the gym, I'm gonna take a call at 2 o'clock with Mohammed and a client, because I don't have to be on camera. So it's a way for me to make sure that I'm getting in my gym time, but I'm also on the call. So what questions or just observations or things that you're getting from this? I see in Muhammad said, if it's 80% good, let's roll. Being perfect won't make you wealthy. So true. Yeah, Corbin says, I meditate before tests now. Rain sounds are my jam. Life harmony. Yeah. So
I got a question too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I actually was asking, how do you say no nicely? How do you do that yourself? Maybe how do you phrase it?
The way that I say it now is, if somebody calls me, they already know that I'm working. So they already have like, oh, she's working, because I trained them to think that way. She's working. That's why she's not answering. And it's the truth, but I don't have to say it anymore. I'm working. So now when I do finally respond, I'm like, sorry about that. I was working, but I'm here now. We can text, or are you available now? And so, and if you're talking about events, let me tell you, I turned down so many. Let me tell you, it's not going to be easy to say no to everything. I turned down movies. I turned down commercials. I've turned down lots of things I wanted to do because I had to be strict on myself, following my own rules. Do you get what I mean? A guy called me the other day to do a commercial in Waxahachie. I never drove to Waxahachie. It's by myself. It's going to drive me nuts. First of all, it's going to give me anxiety. The second thing is, that's 6 hours of my time, 2 hours on set, an hour for me to get ready, an hour for me to drive, an hour for me to get back. So it's not worth it to me. No. So there are things, yes, there there are things, big things that you have to say no to. It's going to hurt, but it's going to be worth it.
Right, right. Yeah, yeah, I agree. And I really like how you said how you put the time together, as in it's really not worth your time. So you really have to be strict on yourself for that. I think that was powerful.
Yes, and Amy said learning to say no to yourself is important too sometimes. You know, that is the beginning of maturity, is being able to say no to yourself over and over and over again. That's how you know you're an adult, in my book. Okay, anyone else have any tidbits? Okay.
I have an interesting thought from a philosopher. It's about a lot of people think there's not enough time to accomplish something extraordinary. The philosopher says you do have enough time in your life to do something extraordinary. You just have to be consistent and throughout your life. You know, that's how people achieve things. Well, prize winners. It just takes a lot of focus and dedication. So people who squander it away by not practicing time management are not going to be able to have enough time to accomplish something great, but we have the potential to do that.
And that's the goal, right? Is to accomplish something great, accomplishing something great. That's why we have to be really big on time management. Do you want people to remember your name? Do you want your legacy to continue to live on and make a great impact after you are gone? That's what I mean by being a highly effective person. What's the point of being highly effective? Is so that you can impact people's lives, so you can, make a great impact to other people. So all of you are how I'm making an impact. I take that so seriously. I'm basically building my whole life around it. Someone said, Beatrice said, I learned so much during this training. I will definitely try to follow these tips, especially to train others to respect my focus and work. That's going to save some time, for sure. Is going to save some time. And my family is really good about that. Like, they're upstairs shutting up right now. I have like 4 people shutting up right now just so I could do this in the living room instead of in my room, just because I wanted to. I like the glass exercise. You know, that glass exercise, I learned it from Coach Anna. Some of y'all don't know who Coach Anna, but look up Anna McCoy, A-N-N-A, McCoy. She was the first millionaire that I had that ever mentored me. And she and Reg, she was both me and Reg's mentor. And Reg and I didn't even know we had the same mentor. And she taught me this glass thing, and it rocked my world. So I think this is great. And I know that it was hard for everybody to do this, and I really appreciate you guys being there. I'm going to send you some goodies just to say thank you in the mail. And I'm going to make this available for the other people that weren't able to come. And just, keep Satari in your thoughts and prayers, because she's got COVID for the second time. So she's not feeling well. And then, but yeah, so let's hope she feels better soon. Yeah, I am going to keep this training. I think I'm going to put it on YouTube, then, make it public so people can look at it. But okay, thank you guys. You did great. Love all your insights, and have a great rest of your day.
Thank you.
Bye.
Everyone.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you guys. Have a good one.